macOS is great, but it has some flaws that only external apps can fix. For example, if you use a mouse with your Mac, you'd know how bad using a mouse with macOS is. Linear mouse fixes all those issues, allowing you to customize the scroll direction, pointer acceleration, and to use your mouse buttons for system actions. Yes, it is free. Don't think that one's useful? Well, maybe you want an AirDrop that's faster and works with all operating systems, or a better way to organize your files, or a better screenshot tool with actual customization, or a screen brightness control app for late night work and study sessions. Whatever it is you want, stay tuned because this video is a list of 11 free Mac apps that make your Mac actually worth the price. You know when you want to drag and drop a file into an application, but you forget which window it's in? Dropover lets you drop files into a temporary shelf that floats on your screen. This way you can find the window you want and then drag and drop it. All you need to do is select the file, wiggle it around a little bit, drop it in the shelf that appears, and you can then navigate freely and pick the files back up when you're ready to move them. You can even pin it to the side of your screen or to your menu bar, and there are many more useful settings you can change, like calling it using modifier keys, and more actions that allow you to share the files quickly. App Cleaner is another essential app. When you delete an app on macOS, you usually just drag it into the trash, and that's it, but that leaves behind a bunch of leftover junk, like preferences and support files. What App Cleaner does instead is it finds all the files related to that app and deletes it all in one go. All you have to do is drag the app icon onto the App Cleaner icon on your dock and click remove. If you've ever done work at night on your Mac, you probably would have turned the brightness down, but still felt like it's too bright. With Lunar, you can dim the brightness below the screen limit so that you can continue working during the night. You can take screenshots really easily on macOS, but to edit it, you need to open the preview app, and it doesn't really allow for great customization. And that's where Shottr comes in. It's super fast, lightweight, and way better than macOS's preview. Once you take a screenshot, you can easily crop it, annotate it by adding text and easily make it bigger or smaller, draw whatever you want and change the color and thickness, or even add an arrow like this. You can even resize the image and check the hex code of every pixel. There are of course more features and more paid features, but the free version has been perfectly fine for me. One thing just lives in your menu bar and it lets you put one thing as a quick note. Yes, that is all it does, but it's actually really useful when I want to quickly remind myself of something later. Staying on the menu bar, the next app is Vanilla. Now, it might not seem super important to you yet, but as you continue downloading apps on your new Mac, the menu bar can get pretty messy to the point where it's kinda useless in some apps. Vanilla hides all the clutter and only shows you what you want. All you have to do to hide a menu item is to hold Command and drag it into this area. It'll now be stowed away, making your menu bar so much cleaner. Window tiling was only introduced in macOS 15 despite being a feature in Windows for the past whatever years. AltTab brings another one of Windows' best features to the Mac, real app switching. The default Command tab on macOS just switches between apps and not windows. If you have two or more windows of the same app open, it really doesn't help. AltTab shows a visual preview of every open window and lets you jump to exactly the one you want, making your life so much easier. Now, if you were stalking my menu bar, you would have seen this icon, which is the Blip app. AirDrop is one of the best Apple features, but that's exactly the problem. It doesn't work with other systems. That is where Blip comes in. It lives in your menu bar and lets you drag and drop files to nearby devices, regardless of what the device's operating system is. So as long as the other device also has Blip, I can easily just drag the file I want to share onto the icon and immediately send it. The user gets a notification on their desktop that they've received a blip. The best part is that you can share even if you're not on the same network, unlike AirDrop. It of course has unlimited file transfers and is more consistent than Apple's AirDrop. I promised to show you my favorite Mac app at the end, but before that I want to show you self-control. You open it up, type in the websites that distract you the most, like Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, whatever, and then you hit start. So now, for however long you set the timer, you cannot access those websites. Not even if you delete the app or restart your Mac. It's brutal, but it works. And now we're finally at the end of the video, and I told you I'd show my favorite Mac app. Raycast has completely replaced my Spotlight tool for several reasons. Of course, with Raycast you can still search for files, launch apps, but what Raycast does different is that it has a built-in clipboard manager, which saves your clipboard history, a better calculator with time zone conversions, an emoji picker to pick emojis, system commands like changing appearance, text replacements like the ones I have shown here, and community-made extensions that connect to all other apps. You see, the Raycast community has created a bunch of extensions for apps so you can access them just from Raycast, just by pressing Command Space. A useful example I found was the Google Translate extension, which does exactly what it says. You can either have it appear like this, or go into the settings and make it look more compact, and even change the theme, although light mode is disgusting and no one should ever use it. And of course, there are some fun commands too, like the confetti command, and most importantly, the bounce animation. Anyways, that's it. Let me know which of these you already use, or if you've got a hidden gem I should try.